As part of the Finding Heroes project that we recently announced, we're launching the Our Heroes Hall of Remembrance. This will eventually be a digital place to go and honor our forgotten and fallen war heroes. I feel together we can create a place of real meaning and remembrance. In the meantime, we're going to produce a series of videos in order to tell the stories of our heroes. I'm going to honor our first soldier into the Our Heroes Hall of Remembrance, Captain Beauchamp Barclay, from the British Royal Army Medical Corps. He was 30 years old in 1941 when he was stationed on Hong Kong Island. What's special about Captain Barclay's story is that he's the first soldier that we ever connected with a lost war artifact. The story is fascinating and heartbreaking. In January 2012, we were in Hong Kong producing the pilot episode of the series War Junk that I co-hosted with Professor David O'Keefe.
It's really amazing though.
We met with local collector and digger Craig Mitchell, who showed us his collection of war artifacts. Surprisingly, it was the smallest and seemingly most insignificant war artifact that we chose to research.
I think that's a C, am I right?
That's right, yes. It's been broken in half and it's a little bit bent, so...
What was it?
I believe it is half of a Royal Army Medical Corps shoulder flash.
Royal Army Medical Corps.
I believe it came across the top there.
Craig found it in the jungle not far from where we were shooting.
And this is the exact spot I found it.
Right here.
Right here, right here.
The remarkable and unique thing about the Battle of Hong Kong is that when the fighting went from the mainland to Hong Kong Island, the fighting swept across the island very quickly between December 18th and December 25th, 1941. Because of this, we can actually pinpoint where certain regiments, units, and even individual soldiers were located during the fighting. When we first met Craig, he had already narrowed the search down to about 5 personnel from the Royal Army Medical Corps that were situated on that part of the island.
Well, that would make sense because there weren't a lot of Royal Army Medical Corps.
There would have only been a handful in this particular location.
Wow.
Our research team uncovered 2 primary sources from the archives that gave us the clues to whom the shoulder flash belonged to.
It's either a Captain Barclay, a Private Evans, or a Private Jones.
Here's David and Craig methodically going through the research.
So in the report, where it keeps referring to the medical aid post, it is just behind me on that slope just there.
So that's where it would have been in 1941.
That's right. That's where they would have been held captive for a couple of days until they surrendered, and then they came out.
After that, they said something about taken to a place overlooking this aid station.
Is that they were taken over to that hill just over there. So this is it.
So this is the area then that's overlooking the dressing station.
Which is just down there. And this is, I suspect, the area where they were tied to a tree. They were tortured until they made their daring escape. And where it says down here that 2 of them decided to head towards Shaki 1, that's that direction.
Okay.
And this is the exact spot I found it.
Right here?
Right here.
Now, how far are we away from where they split up?
We're about 400 meters to the south of where they were held against a tree.
Okay.
But what really makes this interesting, Barclay headed towards Stanley. Stanley is this direction, while his other comrades went the other direction.
Okay, that's not just interesting, lad. That seals it. I mean, this is the only thing that was here. Barclay was the only person who came by here, the only one who could have been wearing a Royal Army Medical Corps shoulder flash.
That's what it looks like.
So there's only one conclusion. This has to be Barclay's.
Right here.
Sadly, Captain Barclay was killed and never made it to Stanley. We then reached out to his son Jim, who came all the way from New Zealand without knowing what we were going to show him. The thing that I remembered the most about first meeting Jim was that he told me that he had no real connection to his father.
And have you ever wondered about him?
I have wondered about him. I had a photograph, but my mother never tried to make me feel emotionally attached to a person I didn't know.
Jim was less than a year old when his father was killed. I then took him to meet Craig and Dave. Craig gave him the shoulder flash.
How extraordinary. How do you think that's related to my father?
And then Dave took Jim through our research.
And they were able to come up with a couple of reports that were done after the war about Japanese atrocities that occurred here.
Right.
Unfortunately, your father's name appears in both of them. They're rather sensitive reading.
Which was challenging because of the detailed reports on what happened to his father. Then we took Jim to the site where Craig found the shoulder flash.
And it was just over here.
It was a revelation for Jim.
He was heading straight over towards Stanley, which is that direction there.
It feels extraordinary. I came with a quite open mind, but fairly cynical and sort of sceptical about what I would find, and what I've discovered is really shed new light and new insights onto my father's life. The location all ties in with the written reports of the time, and I'm more than totally convinced that this belongs to my father.
The last request Jim had was to take him to his father's grave. This is the heartbreaking part of the story. We all thought we were taking him to a plot at the Saiwan War Cemetery. We found out there that Captain Barclay's body was never recovered. We had to tell Jim this information. Now this is the last moments of the episode where Jim visits the Wall of the Missing.
The start and the end of a journey, because I just didn't know that this existed, and I didn't know this existed. I knew that he was buried here, and I thought he was buried here, and now I know he was never found.
It's a very touching story, and quite unbelievable that we were able to connect the lost war artifact with Jim's father. But it was even more special to see how Jim finally connected with his father after so many years. That is the power of these stories and why we need to tell them. Now, as part of our Heroes Hall of Remembrance, we honor Captain Beauchamp Barclay, who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. A true hero.